In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to multiply and divide integers. Let's start by looking at this little picture that we see here. This picture is going to help us, it's really a little tool to help us understand what happens when you multiply and divide integers. So what's great is that the rules that we're going to talk about here apply for both multiplication and division. So you don't need to distinguish between the two operations. So let's go ahead and look at the first smiley face here. Notice how it says on the top, positive and a positive. And then on the bottom, it says positive. What that's saying is that if you multiply or divide a positive number and a positive number, you're going to get a positive number. The second smiley says, a negative number times a negative number is going to give you a positive number. The thing to note on this half of the little picture is that when you have two integers that have the same sign, for example, a positive sign and a positive sign, it's going to give you a positive answer. Same thing, if you have two numbers that have the same sign, such as a negative and a negative, you're going to get a positive answer. So two numbers with the same signs means you're going to end up with a positive answer. Likewise, on the other hand, if you have two numbers that are different or that have different signs, such as a positive number and a negative number, you're going to end up with a negative answer. And likewise, if you start with a negative number and then have the second number be positive and you multiply or divide them, you're going to get a negative number as well. So you can see that it kind of separates the two here. Now, I know it says, let me teach you the hand trick. I'm going to teach you that in class, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's go ahead and practice some of these now that we understand this idea of same signs and different signs. So here are some examples. Here I have numbers that have the same signs. So you can see that I have a positive 3 times a positive 4. That means I'm going to end up with a positive answer. And in this case, 3 times 4 is going to leave us with 12. In the second example, you can see I have a negative number times a negative number. Both numbers are negative. Therefore, it's going to leave us with a positive answer. Negative 5 times negative 2 is going to equal positive 10. In the third example, negative 8 divided by negative 4. Notice how the signs are the same for both numbers. The 8 is negative and the 4 is negative. If we divide those, that's going to leave us with a positive answer of 2. Feel free to go ahead and pause the video at this point and try the next three. Negative 4 times negative 5 is going to give us a positive answer of positive 20. 25 divided by 5, both of them are positive numbers. That's going to leave me with an answer of 5. Negative 48 divided by negative 6, that's going to leave me with an answer of positive 8. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to the different signs. So you can see that these numbers that we're going to work with here each have a different symbol. So whether you start with a positive or negative, it doesn't matter. As long as one of the numbers is positive and the other is negative, you're always going to have a negative answer. So in the first example, we have a negative number times a positive number. That's going to give us an answer of negative 6. 77 divided by negative 11. I have two different signs. That's going to leave me with a negative answer, and that's going to be negative 7. Negative 6 times positive 5. Notice negative times a positive. That's going to give me a negative answer, negative 30. Negative 24 divided by 3. I have a negative divided by a positive. That's going to give me negative 8. 2, which is a positive number, times negative 7, that's going to give us a negative 14. And then 32 divided by negative 8, so I have a positive divided by a negative, that's going to give us a negative answer of negative 4. Okay, now that we understand how the operations work with multiplying and dividing integers, let's go ahead and try a couple more. This is a great time to just pause the video and just try these on your own, and then we'll go ahead and do them together so you can check yourself. All right, the first we have, you can see we have different signs. Different signs means that we're going to have a negative answer. Therefore, negative 4 times 6, that's going to leave us with negative 24. Essentially what you're doing is you're just multiplying the numbers. We know that 4 times 6 is 24. So the piece that we're adding here is the idea that when you have opposite signs, you're going to multiply them together to get a negative answer. Okay, let's go ahead and go down our page here. Negative 35 divided by negative 5. I have two negative numbers which are the same sign. So that's going to give me a positive answer of 7. 2 times negative 12. I have a positive and a negative, which is going to lead me to a negative 24. 55 divided by negative 11. I have two opposite signs. That's going to leave me with negative 5. 30 divided by negative 6. I have a positive divided by negative. That's going to leave me with negative 5. Negative 7 times negative 3. Same signs. That's going to be a positive 21. Negative 12 divided by 3, I have a negative and a positive. That's going to leave me with a negative 4. And 40 times negative 2, I have a positive and a negative, different signs, negative 80. All right, now that we've practiced the operations, let's go ahead and do some application problems. Okay, a group of hikers climbed a mountain at a rate of 400 feet per hour. What is the change in the elevation of the hikers after 6 hours? So you can go ahead and draw yourself a little picture if you like, but basically what we have here is just a bunch of people, and they're climbing up a mountain, and the rate is 400 feet per hour. And you can see that, so that's how many feet that they're walking per every 1 hour. When you see this idea where it says per hour, that means per every 1 hour. So it's asking us, what's the change in the elevation? The elevation is basically how high are the climbers climbing after 6 hours they give us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 400 and we're going to multiply it by 6 hours. Because if for every 1 hour they're going 400 feet, well, can't we just multiply 400 times 6 to give us how many feet they're going to be walking in 6 hours? That's going to give us about 2,400 feet per hour, or feet. Not feet per hour, it'll be 2,400 just feet. That's how high they're going to climb in that given 6 hours. All right, let's look at the next one. On Tuesday, the temperature changed at a rate of -2 degrees Fahrenheit per hour. How long did it take for the change in temperature to be -18 degrees Fahrenheit? So basically what we're doing is, well, the temperature is changing about 2 degrees, getting colder every hour. Again, we have that per hour idea again. That just means 1 hour. We want to know how long in hours, right? So how many hours did it take for it to get to a temperature of -18? So basically what we want to do is we want to take that -18 and we want to divide it by our -2, because that's going to tell us how many hours it took to get there. And if we divide that, it's going to give us a +9. Now, a negative divided by negative gives us a positive, because it wouldn't make sense to say -9 hours, right? So 9 hours will be our final answer. And the last one. Maggie bought candy for her friends at the candy store, and she owes the clerk $35. If each of her 5 friends help her pay off her debt, how much money will each friend owe her? All right, so Maggie goes to the candy store and she has $35. She spends $35, but she has 5 friends that are going to help her pay for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and divide 35 by her 5 friends. That's going to leave us with 7. So the question is, how much money will each friend owe her? Well, $70. Notice how it says Maggie bought candy for her friends. It doesn't include Maggie in this problem. In that case, we would have to divide 35 by 6. But the question wasn't very clear. Well, it kind of was clear. It just said that she bought candy just for her friends. So her friends were the ones that are going to pay for the candy. All right, so $7 is our final answer.